I'm gonna be presenting this project to you. I'm gonna go through the guidelines and then show you the UI and how to actually do your tasks. I'll start by sharing my screen first. Okay. So, can you all see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So, so the project is named the SPARQL Queries, and this is the project guidelines. You will receive the project guidelines just after this meeting. So I will just go through this first part pretty quickly. Here you can find how to access the platform, which emails you should contact. Either you have each this or this problem, and also some information about the invoice. And the first important part, maybe I'm gonna zoom a little bit for those of you who are maybe on their phones or just have a small screen or can just see quickly, but I think it's better like this. So the main goal of this project is to write SPARQL queries, as the name may suggest. But we don't want to create any SPARQL queries. We want to create SPARQL queries that are dedicated to Wikidata. As you probably all know, Wikidata has a specific way to write SPARQL queries, and what we want to do is to go and find facts directly from Wikidata depending on a user query. And why do we want to do this? It's to train an LLM so that he can actually answer the user queries afterwards. So what we are asking you to do is to write precise queries that can be executable on Wikidata query services, and that will provide clear answers or answers that can be easily inferred otherwise. So, just to give you an idea of what we are asking you to do, first we want you to identify the components of the user query. So identify the subject, the predicate, the objects, the entity that are involved, etc. We want you to resolve ambiguous terms before writing the query. This part will be done through the UI, but sometimes, for example, if the user query is asking for Paris, there are multiple queries. There are multiple cities in the world that are called Paris. So this is one of the jobs that we are asking you to do. Also, we want you to clearly use Wikidata properties as much as possible. So, for example, you are supposed to use the syntax WDTP31 to say instance of, or for example, subclass of something. So there is a specific syntax for Wikidata that we are asking you to do, and also keep the query as simple and direct as possible. And this is a part of optimization that you have also that we are asking you to do. When possible, just provide the straightforward queries, or when it's a bit complicated, pay attention to provide a bit of optimization into your queries. So, the general query template is to select for example, a variable where you have some subqueries, etc. It's always a good reminder to not to forget the service Wikibase label also. And use appropriate variables and labels for these variables, and also apply or use the limits function wisely, because it's important not to miss some important results in your queries. So and also we ask you to be sure that your query is can be executed on the Wikidata service, but the UI actually queries uses an API query the Wikidata service. So if it's working on our UI, you are sure that it's working on the Wikidata query service. And also, and this is very important, ensure that the response directly answers or clearly infers the requested information. I think it might seem obvious to you, but this is a very important part of the work. Sometimes you have a strategy to answer the user query, and it changes in while you are working on it. And sometimes the information is just being missed or just forgotten, or sometimes you have queries with two parts, and sometimes some annotators just answer the first part and not the second part. So please be sure that that you actually answer the user query. As a time constraint, well, we estimate that that to create one query, it shouldn't take you more than 10 minutes to think about the query and to actually implement the query in the UI with all the data annotation that that you are supposed to do. I'm gonna get back to all the work that you have to do when I'm gonna show you the UI. And if for some reason an exact query cannot be constructed within the 10 minutes, just try to draft the closest query possible that returns meaningful results. So for example, if the information is not available for this entity, maybe try to look for a similar entity, for example, and try to do the user query on it, or it's up to you. Actually depends on the user query. But yeah, if you can't do it in 10 minutes, maybe 12 minutes, for example, you can give a partial, what we call partial answers, and just explain this in the part that I'm going to show you later. And also, you can use all the tools that you may need, all outside tools, but you are not allowed to use outsider it's other sources of information. What we want to find is information and facts directly from Wikidata, not from other sources of information. Wikidata doesn't have all the answers. We know that it's not a problem, but we only want it's information about coming from Wikidata. Let's say, for example, that for a certain city, the population information is not available for 2024 in Wikidata. I think that you can just Google it and find the information. We don't want the information coming from Google, for example. We want it directly from Wikidata, and if it's not, it's better in this project to find, for example, the last of date, the last date population information that is available. And if you don't really know how to do the problem, you can also check similar examples it's online. And also an important information is that in this project, you are allowed to use as an LLM to help you code your query, but please make sure your query is working and it's doing exactly what you want it to do the good way. Because if LLMs were really good at this, we wouldn't be here explaining this project and training an LLM specifically for this task. The LLMs are really, really bad. And so, yeah, as if you use them, just pay attention on at what you are submitting as SPARQL queries. So I will show you some examples of the outputs that we are expecting from you. So in here, the user query is what is the capital of France. So the SPARQL query is really simple in this case. We will check for the capital label, which is the strict minimum, and we will also try to find the country label. Just to remind, that is France. We look for the entity representing France. the property for the capital. We use the variable capital. We reuse the country just to show the country label in the response. And what you are supposed to have is the capital label and the country label, Paris, France. I think it's easy. Why do we consider this as an excellent output? We consider it as an excellent output because here the minimum information that is required is the capital of France. So we could have just shown as a result the capital label, but here we have made the move to, for example, let's also return the country. We could have returned, for example, the population, etc., which we consider here a higher quality response than just showing the capital label. And I think in the other parts, a bit lower in this documentation, we use this exact example just to say that if you return the capital label, it's still a good answer, but just an adequate output. So we really encourage you to find some relevant information about the variables you are given. It's up to you. It depends on the user query. Sometimes there are just not relevant general information about the variables. So you're not obliged to do it, but we really encourage you to do it. I will show you another example, a little bit more, let's say, not more complicated, but a more technical one, where we are looking for the capital of China and its population. In this case, for us, well, the excellent output would be the capital label, because one part of the user query is asking what is the capital of China, and also the population of it. And in this specific SPARQL query, we have decided to also show the dates on which the population was, the information of the population was available. So here, for example, in 2020, it was this specific value, but in 2005 or 2005, it was just this value. In the documentation, in the guidelines, you will have a lot of examples for excellent outputs, for adequate outputs, and I will let you go through this. And just an example of a wrong output before I show you the UI. So here, the question was, who invented the telephone? And here, I think the problem was that we used the property P279, which is I don't remember it to be honest, but the correct property was to use its inventor. So make sure that you are using the right properties, and this one, for example, in a review would be given below average or way below average, to be honest. So you have a lot of other examples. I will let you go through this once you have access to the guidelines, and I will go to the UI. So when you first get the UI, this is what you are gonna see. The first thing maybe I will start with will be this timer. Well, this timer is actually starting at 4 hours. What this timer means is that you have 4 hours to achieve this task before this task is given to someone else, because we judge that 4 hours is more than enough to do it. Just to be clear, that doesn't mean that you have to spend 4 complete hours on doing this task. In general, the task takes maybe 10 or 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes. Not more, it depends on the complexity of the task. For example, this allows you to have, for example, to take a break or to go do something else that you need to do, and come back and continue working on this task. And if you want, you can also extend the working time. And if you click on the button, it will go back automatically to 4 hours. So after that, the first thing I will gonna show you is the user query. And in this case, the query is, what is the largest city in Canada? And what we are gonna do now is try to find or to address this this query together. So for me, I always start with the rational part, and the rational part is meant to explain how are you going to address the user query. What are the steps that you are going to take in order to find or to answer this, the question in the user query? In this case, I think one approach would be to find, for example, find all the cities in Canada. Then the second one will be to get the population of these cities. And the last step will be to find the largest city in Canada. So this is the general approach, but here I am assuming that that the largest city in Canada is the largest city by population. And in here, well, the question is a bit ambiguous, and I made the choice to, because I understood it this way, I think the user query is asking for the largest city in Canada by population and not by area. So what I am just gonna add here is I will add an assumption. The largest city here means largest by population. That's all I have to do to clarify the user query. And then what I can do, and then, well, the next important part here, I will have maybe 2 words about these 2 questions that you have to also answer. In general, I do them at the end of the task, but you can start by them and then change them after. But the first question you have to answer is the query open-ended. Well, what we call an open-ended query is really a user query that really doesn't make sense. So we had some examples where the user query was just dog, and there isn't really much that you can do with this, or sometimes it's really a very vague question. And in this case, you can select yes, and it's up to you to modify the query to make it less vague or just clarify the query. And the second question you have to answer is the perfect SPARQL queries. And this means that the queries you have designed give exactly the perfect answer for the user query. So I think with the example is gonna be a lot more easier to understand. But here I will start by doing my first step on my rationale. So I will try to find all the cities that are in Canada. This box, what we call the query box, is meant to say what does the SPARQL query you are doing here, what is it supposed to do? So let's say, for example, that for our LLM, we will give him 3 subqueries in this case. So we want to make these queries reproducible so he can learn even more with only one user query. So here, if we change, for example, the country, the LLM, when he's being trained, he's going to be able to find all the cities for other countries. So the first step is to look for the entity that you are going to use. And in this case, the entity is Canada. So what we can do is search for this entity, and here the UI will go and check and do a search directly on Wikidata, and will return all the results that it will find corresponding to what you are looking for. So here it's up to you to decide which entity of these are gonna be useful to the user query. Sorry. So for example, here we will need actually the entity that is called Canada, and that is a country in North America, because we are looking for the cities. So it's probably the country. We wait a little bit for it to load. When the entities are big, it takes some few seconds before for it to load. So and in here, when you have selected the entity, you will have the rationale box. And here you will have to explain why you chose this specific entity and not the other ones that were on the search results. So here, for example, I chose this entity because I selected the entity that is a country, because I am looking for cities. So, and then you can expand the entity that you have found, and in here you will find all the information that are available on Wikidata directly on your UI. And why this is important? Because what you can do here, for example, is you can directly build your query when you select. Let's say, for example, I am looking for the capital city of Canada. I can click in here, and I will have my SPARQL query directly. But here we are not looking for the capital city. We are looking for all cities in Canada. So I will call here, I am looking for a city that is located in Canada. So here I need to find the property, and we have a small module here where you can look for the properties this time, not the entities. So I will look for located, and here I can find the property that is called located in the administrative territorial entity, which is the P31131. So I will do here 131, and I am looking for a city located in Canada. And here I can directly run my query. Oh, I was looking for the capital label. Yeah. So here I will look for the city label. I will rerun my query. And here I can see that I didn't only find the city, the cities in Canada, but for example, Ontario, or maybe Alberta or British Columbia, for example, we are sure that it's not a city, it's a province. So we have to add another condition to say that it is an instance, So instance of, if I look here, it's the P31. So this is what I'm gonna use. And also for cities, I think it's Q515. I will just make sure. Oh, and also when you are looking for a new entity and you have written something in the query in here, if you look, for example, for the concepts of a city, I will search a new entity. All I have done here will disappear. So what I did is that I already copied what I have done, just not to lose everything here. So I am also gonna need the concepts of city. So select the entity representing the concept of city. So, and here I can run my query. And if everything is good, it should work, but it didn't work. So that means that here my property I used is not the good one. So I will try, for example, let's say subclass of. So 279. See, still not working. So I'm not sure why it is not working, but yeah. So I will leave these parts until later so we can go through, but let's say that we have succeeded to keep only the cities, so we can move on. So once I have the results, what you are supposed to do is to select the results that are correct. So here, for my query, which is to find all cities in Canada, let's say that all the results are correct. You should select the results that are correct, and then you can confirm your query to say that you are done with it. Also, another important button that you can use is the check query, and here it will read the query that you are that you have made and tell you all the properties that you have used and the entities that you have used. This is a good way to check that you have used the right entities and the right properties. So then I will go to the second part of my rationale, of my approach. I will create a new query by a new blank query by clicking on the plus button in here. And the purpose of this subquery is to get the population of all Canadian cities. So this time I don't need any new entities because I already have the part of Canada. So I will reuse the query I have made in the first part. I will put it here. And what I need this time is to find the population of each city that I have found. To look for the population, it's this code. So I will look for the population. Oh, I have, okay. And I will put it in the variable population. Okay, the population. I will run my query to see if everything is okay. So for each city, I have a population information. So I can check again my query. So I have to select the good answers and I can confirm. And then for the last part, I create a new subquery using the same button. And then the purpose of this one is to find the largest city in Canada. Once again, I don't really need new entities to build in my query. So I can also build up on this one. There are lots of ways to find the largest city by population using this query. One of my favorites, and well, the favorites I like personally, is to order by the population. Okay, and then just limit to 1. And this is what we mean, but this is a wise use of the limit. Actually, this is a good example where the limit is really relevant. Oh, I should have made this by descending order, because here I took the smallest. And let's say that this is the correct answer. If we look into it, it's gonna be, I'm pretty sure it's not the good answer, but let's just say that it is. And then once you have confirmed your query, your rationale, you have made all your steps, and you have find and you have answered the user query. Now you can say that that's what you have provided is a perfect SPARQL query or no. And then you should save your work. And the last step is to complete your task. Well, I'm not sure if everything is clear, but we still have plenty of times for you to ask a lot of questions. I'm pretty sure you have many questions. So yeah, you can go ahead. Don't hesitate. We'll see if there are already any questions in the chat. Oh, about the difficulty of the queries. Well, I have a first question, which is what is the difficulty of the queries that you are going to get? Well, can you share an example? I guess it was before I made the presentation. There are some easy queries, or it's not that they are easy, but they are more straightforward, or where you will need only one query, one subquery. There are sometimes ones where you need really, for example, 4 or 5 queries. We have all kind of difficulties, to be honest. So yeah, and also I'm not sure if I understood well the second question, which says if any entity have the data, we add it manually to Wikidata. I don't think we are not asking you to go directly to Wikidata and modify the information that is in there. What we are interested in is really getting the facts directly from Wikidata. So if the information is not there, you can say it, for example, in your rationale. Say, for example, because this information is not available on Wikidata, we are just, for example, gonna get this information, or we are just going to do this or that. It depends on the user query you are handling at the moment. So yeah, you don't need to go directly to Wikidata and modify anything. So these were all the questions that I had in the chat. So if you have other questions, just raise your hand or type it directly in the chat. Yes, Ajibola?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, so when you talk about simple query, in this instance of finding the largest city where you use limits, can we use a function? Probably there's a function in SPARQL called maximum or max.
Oh yeah. It's up to you to decide what type of functions, or what is the structure of your query. That's one of the things that we need you for, actually, because all of you are experts, and not everybody have the same approach to solve the same problem, or the same user query, or even when coding. Well, for me, the order and the limits has always been my favorites. I always had some trouble using the max. I don't know why, but it's like this. So I use the order by and the limits, but you can use whatever function available on the Wikidata service, actually, to solve the problem. You are 100% free on this. Just make sure that that your SPARQL queries are optimized and actually it's answering the user query. Yeah.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? You can go ahead. Oh, I know. I know how to explain all of this, but but in general, I have more questions, so I'm a bit surprised. But yeah, so we should always. Oh, I have another question, so I will read it. So we should always try to get relevant, related information instead of in this example just the largest city. Well, this is just an example to show you how to use the UI. To be honest, in for example, in here, when I tried to use directly the city to filter the cities, I didn't succeed, so I wanted to go really through. But yeah, for example, here you can find for each city, for example, the inception year, for example, or the latest dates of the population for as an additional information. We encourage you to do it, but for it not to take lots of time and show you and have more time to answer your questions. I did the strict minimum in this example, but yeah, you can add, for example, here the date, or maybe the date related to the population, or for example the inception date of the city. That's what I have in mind right now, but you can think of something, some other thing that is relevant to the user query. And also, since I don't have a lot of questions, the number of subqueries that you will use is something that is up to you. We don't have a limit on the number. It's up to you to decide what number of subqueries is good to answer. It is good to answer the user query. When I was talking about the 10 minutes for each query, I wasn't talking about the user query, but for each query you will be providing. So in this example, our estimation is that you need 30 minutes because you provide the 3 queries. It's 30 minutes of work. Let's just say, for example, what I was gonna say. Yeah. So for this task, for this example, you are supposed to do it in 30 minutes, and you will be paid for each query you will provide. It all depends on the rationale and the approach that you are gonna use. It's up to you. Well, because it depends on the user query and how complex it is. So yeah, that's an important important thing you should know, I think. Any other questions? Yes, the results are verified by the reviewer. Actually, I'm not sure how many percentage is verified, but about the workflow, can you give me anything specific you didn't understand, or is it just the whole thing? Maybe. So for the workflow, uh, for the workflow, the first thing you will get is the user query. Oh, who gives the queries? Well, the queries are provided by our clients who will give us a batch. It's every week or 2 weeks. Or he will give us data with the user query. And it's up to you. So yeah, the user queries come from the client directly. I don't know how he gets the queries, but yeah. And then it's up to you to find the approach to answer the user query. And then And then, yeah, you should annotate actually all the parts that are here. And another more example, I don't think it's possible because I am on a UI test here, and I'm not sure. Yeah, if I do complete, I'm pretty sure that I will have I won't have another example. So yeah, it just tells me that I don't have any other one available. So just let me check. Oh, I think that's kind of weird. So, okay. Oh, that's weird. It seems like I lost. Okay. Okay. I will try to get it back. Oh, that's not really really convenient for this because I cannot show you another example. I was using the UI test module, so I'm not sure.
What project was that? Let me see if I can help.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
Do you know the name of the project?
Sorry.
Do you know the name of the project? Was it a demo project?
Oh, it was the UI test normally.
Okay, let me check.
Yeah. So yeah, I can think. Oh, if you want, I can show you, for example, if you just want to have an idea about other examples, I have some that I have prepared for something else, but I have some real examples of queries that I will show you. Okay. So, yeah. Oh, I will just show you quickly some other user queries. So, for example, we have a user query of how many weddings took place in these two places in the year 2019. You can have, for example, how do the lists of companies in Albania relate to overall economy? What are the twin cities of Taipei? You have a lot of different user queries. So here, for example, what is the population of the town in the province of Viterbo? You have very various examples of user queries. These are some tricky ones that we have. I think these ones are from the hardest that you can have. But it was just to give you an example. I also have another question. Is there a limited number of user queries? Well, the limited number would be the queries are assigned for the first one who is for any annotator who is here first. So for example, when you start working, you will get one query that is assigned to you, and you will have to submit it before having the next one. I think the limit. We don't have a daily limit or something like this. The only limit is when the batch has ended actually. So yeah, as long as there is work, the first one who is coming will get a query assigned or a task assigned, and you will have 4 hours to submit the task. And if you don't submit it in 4 hours since you started, it will get assigned to another annotator. So I think this is the only limit. Any other questions? No, the 4 hours. The 4 hours are not. Does not. It's not a consecutive. Each time you start a new task, the timer will start over at 4 hours. So yeah, let's say you spent 8 minutes to end the first file. You will have when you will pass to the next task, it will just start over from the first. It will start over at 4 hours. I'm not sure what other details do you need. Is there something specific you have in mind, for example, or maybe not the demo, maybe the UI tests? I think so. Yeah, I will let the demo alone. Yeah, to see. Oh. This is another, for example, this is another user query, another test query that we were using before. And in here, the question is which films have won both the Golden Palm at Cannes and the Best Picture Oscar. And in here, as you can see, for example, the assumption is that the Best Picture is not at Cannes and it's the Academy of Motion Picture. So we corrected this information. And we will be looking for the Academy of Motion Picture. We have identified, for example, the Golden Palm, the film, etc., etc. And as you can see here, for example, the timer has started over because I am at another task. And in here, yeah, we have found, for example, the entities for the Golden Palm and for the film. And then we have selected the correct answers. Let's say here, these were the correct answers. And we have another one which was looking for which films have won the Best Picture Oscar. We did exactly the same, and we have selected the correct answers in this case. And then the last one is to intersect both lists, for example, lists. And then we have the 3 films that have won both awards. This is another example of a user query, and when everything is good, you can save your work. Oh, well, he tells me that I didn't confirm my queries, so to confirm them. And this time I will not click on confirm, not to have the same problem as few minutes ago. This is it. So, any other questions? No. The 4 hours. I know it's a bit confusing, but let's say that I have finished this one, okay, or I started working on this query. Okay, I am working on it. Let's say that I still have to add, for example, a 4th query to answer perfectly the user query, but I have to take a break, for example, because it's been 2 hours that I'm working, or I just need to do something else, or I received an emergency call or anything, and I don't want to lose all this progress. I can just save my progress, log off, and come back, for example, 30 minutes after. Okay, so let's say, for example, you have so all the work I have done here will be saved for 36 minutes and 44 seconds, and I can come at any time and just complete my work and submit it. But if it takes, for example, 2 minutes or 3 minutes, you can just go and complete your task and submit it and get the next one, etc. I think Ajibola has another question. Go ahead.
Will I or will we be assigned to someone, probably in case of difficulty, challenges, or issues, or assigned to a platform where we can reach out to probably a technical person?
Well, if you are really stuck with a certain user query, you can always, for example, send an email or something like that. But as I was saying when I was going through the guidelines, if you think that 10 minutes is not enough to build the query, you can always say in the rationale that for this reason or this reason, I couldn't do the query, okay, and say that for this reason I will only find, let's say, for example, in here, the information of the best picture Oscar is not available on Wikidata. So just say in the assumption that that the information is not available, and that, for example, you will find the information for another type of awards that you know the information is there for. Not sure if that answers your question or not.
Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Okay, and also another specificity of this project is that you cannot skip actually the tasks. If the task is too complicated or you can't find the information for, just do your best, but explain what is the problem in the rationale, and you can complete the task. So yeah, this is why we don't let you skip the task, and also, to be honest, not for everyone to skip the difficult tasks. We don't control which one of you will get what task, etc. So everyone would have easy tasks, medium or medium task, or medium difficulty task, or hard task. So yeah. So if you want to skip for any reason, you can do your best, explain what is happening in the rationale, and this part is really important to explain. So it to be clear, and then you can. And also in this case, select that the SPARQL queries are not perfect in this case. So yeah. I have another question. Okay, how will you know if the query is written correctly or not? Well, I think that if the query is not correct, let's say, for example, yeah, I will just take this one, put it here, and mess a little bit with the structure of the query. You will just have no answers. Yeah. Also, what I do personally is that I use the Wikidata services query service. I do it because I find it better to because of the colors. I know what are my variables, etc., etc. So, and in there you will have more information. You will have the exact error. But yeah, sometimes it's just because there are no answers. Sometimes it's because your query is not okay. But in this case, if you are not sure, you can use the Wikidata service, query service. Yeah, as long as you submit, at each time you complete your task, it will. The timer will get back at 4 hours. Let's say, for example, that you took a break and you came back and the timer is only 5 minutes left and you think you need 10 minutes. You can always extend the working time, and you will have 4 hours again to complete your task. So. If you have any other questions, that's great. If not, you can always access the guidelines directly from here. If you click here, you will have the guidelines. Also, In the guidelines, you will find the emails to contact the team, and the number of queries you will have depends on how much you can work. I think that we have enough work to do for each batch. We have it actually can do as much queries as you have, as long as as we have as we have more tasks to do. So it stops when everything is done, and we wait for the next batch. And to answer the last question, if you can't solve a task, you can give a partial answer, say it in the rationale, and complete your task, because even if you refresh the page, you will stay in the same task. So if everything is okay, we can stop here, unless you have other information maybe to give to everyone.
Thank you, Matthew. I think we are right on time. I think the next